Hi Diamond Divas. I'd like to welcome you back to Wanda's Workbasket for all things creative and crafty with a little bit of inspiration mixed in. Today I'd like to show you how I work with a special drill. That means one that has all kinds of different shapes and sizes of drills, mostly lots of sparkle and rhinestones. There's a different way I do it than if I'm doing a regular diamond painting, and the way I work with it throughout. It just keeps things nice and organized, because usually you're working on a smaller canvas, a smaller surface than a regular diamond painting. So I chose today for the Whip and Chat, and we're going to be continuing on with my friend Fear. So as I'm going to get started on this and show you first how I like to work with it, I decided to work on this tote bag. I got it because I love Snoopy. He is one of my favorite characters of all time. I'm not really thrilled with the little skeleton faces here and there, the aliens or skeletons, whichever you want to call them. I don't ever associate them with Snoopy. So I am going to look into the extra diamonds I'm going to have at the end of this and decide what I'm going to do with the skeleton thingies, because I'm really not, I'm not into them. Probably make them into flowers of some sort. So I got this kit from You Are Best Deals, I believe. Okay, so before I even take the plastic covering off of the drill field, I'm going to show you, they do give you the basic boat, which I don't use. It usually comes in a bag of some sort, obviously. Not this, that's something different. I bring my own boat to it. I like the big boat because it's got nice deep ridges and things line up. Even some of the specials line up easily. And it's got a little gate that you can, that you can take off and to pour in. Sometimes I need the little one, not just for the tiny drills, but if I've got enough in here that this big mouth won't dump into the little baggie, I put it in the small one. I transfer it to the smaller one before I use the funnel to get it into the smaller bag. Okay, so that's that. I have my favorite drill pen that that has a plastic tip, or I put a plastic tip on one of my favorites. The reason I do that is because rhinestones scratch, and you might be scratching some of the surface paint off of them or gouging them in some way so that they're not pretty anymore. Okay, I also grab 2 small paintbrushes. I'll show you why in a minute. For this job, I had Aleene's Original Tacky Glue. It's an all-purpose adhesive. There is one that she has that's Fabri-Tac, which means you can glue anything to a fabric and it dries. It dries clear and you can wash it. It's a washable. I look for washable on the container. If I'm going to make a tote bag, I want something that the glue is going to be stronger than the regular glue that comes with it. I'm always afraid it's going to fall off because I've done some things in the past that have fallen off. Another thing you might want to use instead is Jewel It. It's kind of like the glossy accents, if you're used to using them, but it's a fabric adhesive that bonds permanently jewels and accents to and from fabric. So either one, I like to use either one. In this container, I used the Jane Davenport Fine Point bottle. And when I find others fine tipped bottle, and I know they're out there, I'm going to use them instead. This is, let's see, it looks like a needle. Looks like a vaccination needle on the top of it. I don't know if you can see it or not, but maybe on the back of that, maybe you can see it on the back of there easier. It clogs very, very easily, especially because you're gluing plastic to gems, to rhinestones, to metals, to fabrics, to whatever. And this is such a teeny tiny point. It dries super fast. In here I have put some of the fabric glue. And since I don't want to waste it, I will open it here. It says here in fine print, I will open it here. Yeah, it's coming. So that, one, maybe I can put this in hot water and soak out the tip. Or I can pour out a little blurb on my non-stick mat and use my paintbrushes. The goal here for the small tip or the paintbrushes is that you're going to have rows of teeny tiny little beads. You're going to have different shapes and sizes, but you're going to have the regular small beads in here. And if you put a big runner of glue, first of all, you can't see through it right away. And second of all, it creates a shine next to it and around it. It looks like it just squished out. If you want it to be precise, take the glue bottle, this needlepoint glue, put a drop on there, absolutely perfectly. But since my needle is clogged, I'm going to use the paintbrushes today. And just a little dab will do ya. Okay. I'm closing that back up for the moment, because I used the bigger ones first. I also have a collection of little baggies that have been pre-used in some way. No big deal. They don't have to be huge. They're just for the extras. Of course, with this kind of diamond pointing pen, you need the wax. When I want to be a little more adventurous, and I don't want to even scratch it with that, I have a wax pencil. You can get a set of 3 or 5 or 10 from different companies, either from AliExpress, some of the other ones like Home Craftology and So Any Deals, those kind of companies. If you go to their accessories, you'll be able to find some. They're long. So I snap them in half and I sharpen one end, either with the edge of a scissors or in a pencil sharpener. Now if you use a regular pencil sharpener, it does sort of gum up the works. So don't use a pencil sharpener, like an electric one, exclusively for this. Use a regular pencil in between so that it like clears out the gears inside of there. Or just use a regular handheld pencil sharpener that you wind yourself, and that is perfectly fine for that. Alright, I like to have some tweezers along. I like the blunt end tweezers more for this because it kind of like wraps itself around the different shapes easier. The pointies will do. I even have the kind that bend a little bit. By the way, if you're concerned about my wrist, nope, don't worry about it. It's just repetitive movement strain. If I wrap it up for a couple days, it should be fine. Normally is. Alright, so I have my plastic that I'm going to do it on. I need those baggies. I have, I'm going to move this one over. I'm not going to use this tray. I'm going to use those two. Here. Okay. My tweezers, have my glues, all kinds of goodies. Now, with the kit, obviously you won't get a schematic like you do in a diamond painting. You won't get a list of DMC numbers along with a symbol, along with a number. basically, on the sparkle kits, in a separate plastic bag, they give you a strip of the special items. Now, it looks like these pearls have a coating on them. They're not exactly Aurora Borealis, but they are shiny, shiny, shiny pearls. This would be the number 1, so it would correspond to the number 1s on your kit. Then if you can't tell by the shape and the number, they start with letters. They go to 9 sometimes, or 7, and then they go to A, B, C, D. Alright. I don't start with the smallest first. That drives me nuts. Because what if I do all the small ones around where I need a bigger one, and then I can't get the bigger one in the middle? I suggest you start from biggest to smallest. It's worked for me every single time. Once in a while, you'll see, like, trying to see if there's once in a while you'll see like a 3, 5, 6. They're butted up pretty close to each other around the top of the nose, underneath the eye, and in the ear area. That's okay. There's the small ones you can kind of shift around a little bit. I'll get the Snoopy done, and last of all, maybe last of all, I'm not sure, I will work on the skulls around the outside of him, turning them into flowers. Now, I'm trying to give myself some more space here to work on, so that I don't have to worry about Snoops a lot here. Yes, I'm a bit full of goodies here. Alright. We're ready to start. Oh, and you'll need a scissors as well to cut open the little baggies and stuff and such. Alright. Starting with the largest piece of the outer number. This one is D. So I'm going to look for all the instances where I see D. And where was I? Oh, back to the car accident. Yeah, we were in the middle of 2 cars. We came up to a rise at a stop sign, stopped behind another car. And behind us, this teenager comes flying up the hill, 50 miles an hour, slams into the back of our minivan, which then slammed into the back of the car that was stopped at the traffic light. And it was a very busy intersection, so there was nowhere any of us could go. Having said that, we were in Chrysler minivan, a tank, so thank the Lord nothing happened to us in that regard. Our van was totaled. The ambulance came, the police came. My daughter was pretty well traumatized at that point. They were like in their early teens, and she was just screaming the whole time, crying and screaming. So I just held her. And you know how as a mom, your adrenaline, it's like kicks in, and you're in concentrated mode. You want to check out everything, make sure your entire family is taken care of before you are. We all went to the emergency room. I forget how we got there. Maybe we called somebody, one of our relatives, to pick us up and take us. But we all got to the emergency room, and I wasn't hurting at all. The rest of the family were. And we went, we spent hours in the emergency room figuring out that, alright, they didn't have any broken bones or anything. They had bruising and, neck injuries and that kind of thing. And my husband's back injury was exacerbated and all that stuff. So it was no fun, but I didn't feel any hurt at all at that point. get home. Everybody goes to bed. We get everybody settled. And the next morning, I woke up. And they had their pain pills. They were fine. I was in so much pain, I could barely move. I hurt all over my body. And from then on, I've had the pinches in my neck and shoulders, and the pain in my hips and legs. I left the adrenaline in my body overnight. It became toxic to my body. I couldn't get rid of it as fast or as easily as I guess the rest of the family were able to do. And I was in physical therapy with a chiropractor. Come on, you. For many months, and then off and on again after the many months. And that was like 20 some years ago. Today, I still have fibromyalgia. I still have pain. So, not only does pain live in your brain as chemicals, it also lives in your muscles. It can become toxic, live in your muscles, and cause other problems down the line. Knowing that, I agree with Mira. Now, there's more than the fight or flight response. Of course, fight means you're going to stay and duke it out, react in an aggressive manner to whatever has startled you. Flight means you're getting the heck out of there before something, hurts you or eats you or whatever. You're not staying, you're leaving. And you take off quickly. Another reaction is freeze. Like the deer caught in the headlights look? That you just don't know where to turn. That you're so panicked you're like deathly still. That's another one. There was yet another one, and then I made one up that I haven't heard anybody else use so far in all the years that I've been thinking about it. Well, the other one will come to me. If it does, I'll let you know. But it's fight, flight, freeze. My option now is flow. Okay. Flow to me is acknowledging that what I worry about the most may or may never happen. Okay? Only 10% of all you worry about ever comes to fruition, and it's usually not as bad as your brain can make it. I mean, how often have you, sit up waiting for a child to come in, or heard that, waiting for a phone call that doesn't come for hours, and you're imagining all kinds of things have happened to that person. You're ready to call the hospitals and the police to try to find out what happened. All the meanwhile, it was just something like a traffic jam or something like that. It wasn't a problem at all. You just had to be patient and wait. Well, that's the same thing. If I choose to flow with it, I instead recognize, okay, all right, body, I understand why you're upset here. I get it. You're not comfortable with it. I know you're a bit anxious here. But let's look at the situation for what it really is. And you reason with yourself. You talk your brain out of its panic mode. And then you get rid of some of your excess adrenaline by doing something physical. I don't know, why do guys who are angry go out and chop wood? Or race up the street in a hot rod or something with a loud engine? Why? You know, we spend so much of our time worrying about and avoiding the stresses in our life. Stress can be a good thing. It can alert you to say, oh, well, you know, I've just never done that before. Right? And so you find ways around it. You find ways to, like, okay, maybe if I did it this way, this time, I could, and it didn't work, I'll try something else the next time. Or, oh, well, that made it easier. That made the situation easier, so maybe I'll do that plus something else the next time. And eventually you are preparing yourself. Oop, I missed one. You are preparing yourself for things that could go wrong. that you'll be prepared. You'll be ready. And you say, oh, that wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. My motto seems to be, hope for the best, prepare for the worst, and you usually wind up somewhere in between. That's my motto. One of the several. Come on, you get out of there. I need you. Alright. I'm going to physically move you over here. Stop sticking to my fingers. Come on. This one just did not want to be caught today, I'm telling you. Now it's got a goop. Hard, crusty goop on the one side. There we go. That's off now. So you see what I mean? You have a choice as to how you are going to deal with the anxiety. You may not have a choice whether your body goes into panic mode. But seriously? But you have a choice as to how you're going to have your body continue in that mode or not. You have a choice as to what to do with all the chemicals that are running through your body. So Mira, I totally agree with you that fear can reside in your body. I wish I would have known these things before I had all this pain running through my body. Because believe me, I would love nothing more than to get rid of all this pain. People start to think you're a hypochondriac. They start to think that you're doing it on purpose to avoid being in a situation where they love to be in. Whether you do or not is another issue. I'm tired of people thinking that just because they like to be in a situation that you should too. You know what? As an introvert, it drives me bananas. So anyway, regardless of all that, yeah, it's number 7. And they're the white cabochons. A little more tea. So, but on a good note though, I think that's pretty good. We have something that we can do to, 1, lessen the pain, and 2, help get rid of some of the panic in our bodies before it gets to a point where it causes all kinds of pain in your system. I think that's hopeful. You can do things to mitigate some of the things you're worried about before it gets there. Therefore, you have less to worry about. Like doing your homework over the weekend instead of late Saturday night and think you have 3 hours to get a term paper ready that should have taken you 3 weeks, that kind of thing. Oop, there's a bad one. Or if you're worried about company coming and you're just beside yourself with, oh, I've got so much to do, so much to do. If you keep working steadily on what you think you need to do before that happens, you may find you have an hour or so that you can sit back and read, or drink a cup of coffee or something like that before your company comes. Same with the big report at work, or getting up to speak publicly. There are many ways you can prepare yourself ahead of time, so that you're not caught in a situation where you need to let the panic that your body feels take over. So, take some deep breaths with me. Let's put our work aside for just a half a second. Come on, do this with me. Put your arms, let me get this last bead in place. Put your arms down. And what you're going to do is just take some deep breaths. Because even the conversation about panicking sometimes gives you some panic. And this is one way to mitigate it. If you don't like to exercise, if you don't like to shoot off a gun or chop wood or whatever, if you don't like to do something physical, this is another way to help you release some of the anxiety and the tension and the chemicals in your body. What I want you to do is sit comfortably. If you're not, put your back up against something, the back of the chair, the wall, whatever. Give your back some support. Give your hinder enough support. Feet flat on the floor. Open your hands in front of you. Rest them in a relaxed position on your lap or the table or the, whatever's in front of you. And we're going to take 5 deep breaths. But we're going to do them a little bit different than some of you might be doing them. This is a breath exercise that is taught by psychologists and pulmonologists and lots of people. You breathe in through your nose, long and slowly, for the count of 5. Now I'm going to count it out, so just go with me, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then you're going to hold it for 3. 1, 2, 3. And exhale through your mouth. Let me hear it. Let me hear the slowly. Do that for 5 counts. And then hold it with your exhale out for 3 beats. 1, 2, 3. You're going to inhale through your nose again, hold it, exhale through your mouth, hold it, and we're going to do that cycle 5 times. And as you're doing that, just be aware that anywhere that you have tightened up, you feel it your shoulders or your back or your neck, loosen it up as you're breathing. Just let it fall. Right? You should feel your belly go in when you exhale and expand when you inhale. That way, now you're getting a big, deep, full breath way down in your belly. Okay? Let's begin. and done. How does that feel? I hope you could feel your body relaxing. I hope you could feel that. I will leave you with that today. And well, you heard the story about my car accident and fibromyalgia and all that kind of stuff. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Put down in the comments below just the words breathe. B-R-E-A-T-H-E. I don't care if you spell it right or not. Just put down in the comments if you've gotten this far. Even if you just put the word breathe down there, I will know that you're listening, that the content here is helpful to you, because I only want to be a help to you. And not just because we're getting rid of our anxiety through crafts, but also, you know, lightening our life situations, because we're all in this together. So I will continue with this little beastie. And next time, on either Tuesday or Friday, a Tea and Talk Tuesday or a Fearless Friday, we will continue with our Mira Lee Patel book, My Friend Fear. We will talk about more ways that fear and anxiety influence our life, and ways that we can, you know, have each other's backs, and that we can mitigate it some. In other words, get rid of some of it, deal with some of it before it becomes a problem. Okay? I hope you have a wonderful week.